like to have a blanket for some extra cushion for the knees, that's a great option. And then blocks or anything to hold on to. We're going to do some balance towards the end of class. So go ahead and come down the child's pose. If you want to spread out that blanket at the middle of the mat so you're getting that extra cushion for the knees, you can do that now. Make your knees nice and wide. Push the hips back towards the heels and then just start to crawl the fingertips forward. Good. We'll sway the torso side to side as you start to settle in to a nice relaxed position. Anything that feels good for you. Good. We'll start by taking a few long inhales and exhales. In through the nose and out through the nose. Giving yourself this opportunity to be completely in tune with the present moment. Stepping out of whatever was going on during your day, over your weekend. As you inhale, let the breath fill up the back of the body, the back of the lungs, all the way into the low back. And as you exhale, start to feel the torso melt down a little deeper. Continue with that deep breathing, maybe adding a short pause at the end of your inhale and a short pause at the end of your exhale. Seeing what you can let go of. Any weight you're holding on to in the shoulders, letting the hands melt a little bit deeper towards the floor. Any thoughts, plans, organizing still going on in the mind. Let that release down as well as the head drops a little closer or in more contact with the floor. Take your last few breaths here. Working to keep your gaze inward. So that might mean just opening the eyes for just a moment and then letting the eyes close again as you walk the fingertips forward and then come back up to the hands and knees. Good. Reset the knees. And then we're going to start to move into some deep hip circles. So we'll swing the hips to one direction and then back to the other side. Keep moving in that same circle. And again, you can check in to kind of see what the movement looks like, but then try to turn that gaze back inward so you're really in tune with your breath and your body for these first few movements. Good. The deeper your hips can swing out to the side, the more you'll feel it in that outer edge of the hip and glute. Good. We'll do one more. Inhale all the way as you shift forward. Exhale, hips go back towards the heels, and then just reverse your circles. Go in the opposite direction. Perfectly normal here to get out any snap, crackle, pops in the wrists and knees. Good. Of course, if anything doesn't feel quite right, check in. Good. Continue to breathe. We're starting to weave that breath from the beginning of class from our centering into the movement. Connecting breath and movement together. One more. And then bring it back to center. Check in on your alignment. Make sure the knees are directly under the hips. Good. Wrists right under the shoulders, fingers spread wide. And then we'll start that cat-cow. So we'll inhale, pull forward. Look up, chest lengthens. Exhale, round. Draw the chin to the chest. Good. First few, we're just exploring how everything is feeling today. And then we start to deepen as our body feels ready. Take about 2 or 3 more cycles just following your own breath. Nice job. And then we come into a nice long neutral spine. Good. We're going to bring the hips back towards the heels and then just slightly, about halfway, and then walk the fingertips forward. Little shoulder stretch here. Good. Chest is going to melt down. Palms can touch the floor. Maybe forearms come down too, or you can keep those forearms hovering. Little bit of a stretch in those shoulders. Good. Take one more big inhale here. And then exhale, we'll slide those hands back under the shoulders, back up to our tabletop position. Good. Bring the knees a little closer together. They might touch, and then we're going to extend the right leg back and left hand forward. Tap the toe and the hand to the floor first. Get your balance there. You might stay in that position, or you can start to float the hand and or foot up off the floor. Good. And it might kind of look like a seesaw where you tap the toe and then the hand down. That's perfectly normal. Good. Draw in through the center of the body so the belly button is drawing up and in, and the tailbone is lengthening, creating length at the front and the back of the spine. Gaze is straight down, so the neck's included in that length. And we'll take one more big inhale. Nice job. Exhale. We're going to bring the left hand down, but then the right foot is going to pivot and stay straight, extended on the floor. Good. Both hands are down. You're going to point the toes of the left foot behind you, and then start to come up onto the right fingertips. We're coming into a side plank variation. Pull back on the right hand until you come up into that extended arm position. Good. So we're going to take things a little different. We do this a lot in our classes, but today we're going to bend the back knee and kind of feel the hips sit back. Good. As you do that, take an inhale, and then exhale, push into that extended leg, the right leg, and you're going to straighten and rotate a little deeper up towards the ceiling. Try that again. We're going to bend the back knee just a little. Hips will sink back. And then as you push into the right foot, our right fingertips reach a little higher towards the ceiling. So just creating a little extra length. One more breath just like that. Inhale, bend the right leg. Exhale, lengthen and straighten that right leg. Most likely, you're feeling a little opening through that right hip. Might even make you smile. Inhale, exhale back to that tabletop position. Great job. Inhale, we're going to pull forward, lift the chest, and exhale, round. Cat-cow or child's pose, great variations. As we just reset the spine, even everything out. Can also flip those hands over, get a little stretch for the wrists, especially that left hand that was down on the floor. And then we'll come back to our tabletop position. Draw the knees back together. Good. And then we're taking the left toes back and right hand forward. And again, start where you need to be for your body. So you can start with hand on the floor, toe on the floor, and then you might lift up with both or one at a time. Good. Get the core engaged so that you're lengthening the spine and tucking the tailbone under, and our gaze is straight down towards the floor to get the head and neck in line with that spine. Good. Take one more big inhale. Create a little bit more length. Nice job. Exhale, right hand comes down. Good. Left foot pivots to come all the way down towards the floor, and then the right toes point behind you. So spin that shin to point behind. Left hand pulls back like you're pulling back on a bow and arrow, and then goes straight up. So set that up first. Make sure that the right arm feels nice and strong, pushing and lifting you from the floor. And then subtle adjustment by bending the back knee, hips sink back. And then as you straighten and push through the left foot, we rotate and get higher towards the ceiling. Try that 2 more times. Inhale, hips sit back, bend the back knee, and then straighten and lengthen. Good. Nice job. Last one. With that last breath, see if you can rotate the bottom right rib cage a little bit further under, and the left rib cage rolls open. So just creating more space in the body. The end of the next exhale, left hand comes down back to our tabletop position. And again, either a child's pose or a few cat-cows as we reset, even everything out. Little wrist counter movement for the wrists is great too. Good, nice job. All right, at the end of the next exhale, we're gonna walk the hands one handprint forward, tuck our toes under, and come up into our first downward facing dog. Roll the shoulders back and down and lift it up. Good, start with the knees bent so you can really let the chest press back, open up the shoulders. Head hangs, relaxes. And then we'll add in a little movement, pedal out the legs, let one heel come down and then the other. Let the hips shift side to side. Breathing deeply, finding that space to open and stretch. Listening to your body if you need to come out sooner than I need to or say to. The end of the next exhale, we'll come back to that tabletop position, land with the knees wide, and push the hips back towards the heels. We're coming back to that child's pose. Good, you could stack the hands or forearms for the forehead. You could bring the forehead down to the floor. Good, take a nice long breath here, in and out through the nose. Feel free to sigh it out. Great job. When you're ready, we're going to come back up to our tabletop position. This time, we're going to go from downward dog and walk up over your blanket or up the mat to our forward fold. So if you need a different way to come into that, we're meeting in a forward fold. Press down into the hands, fingers spread wide, tuck your toes under, and lift it up. Give the head and neck a little shake. Breathe deeply as you get a little bit more open in the chest. Feel the hips rise and the heels get slightly heavier as they reach towards the floor. They don't have to touch, but they're just helping lengthen the legs. Take one more full breath here. Try to find that stillness. And then slight bend in the knees. We're going to walk up the mat on our tippy toes. Feel free to hold on to something out in front of you if you need a little extra support. And then coming into a flat back position at the top of the mat. Lift about halfway. Hands reach to the shins or thighs. Flatten the back like a tabletop. And then exhale, we'll fold to deepen. Hands come down to wherever feels comfortable for you. Give the head and neck a little shake. Nice job. At the end of the next exhale, bend the knees deeply, tuck the tailbone under, roll up the spine one vertebrae at a time. Take your time, moving really slow, all the way up to standing. As you get into your Tadasana position, root down through the feet, like they're glued to the floor, really connected to the earth. Good. Let the tailbone drop, tuck under, drawing the belly in slightly, and then pull the head back so that it's balanced evenly between the shoulders and the chin isn't reaching forward. Maybe even close the eyes in your Tadasana position. Notice how it feels to stand up. When you're ready, blink the eyes open, roll the shoulders back and down. All right. If you have a prop or something in the way, you can move that out of the way, and then we'll be at the top of the mat. Into Tadasana position, so feet are about hip distance apart. Roll the shoulders back and down. We'll take a big inhale, reach it out and up. And then exhale, swan dive forward. Nice long, flat spine. Inhale halfway, look out in front of you, and bring the hands to the hips. Good. Think about pulling the hips back behind you, and you're going to bend the left knee only, keeping the right hip pulling back. Good. So you're going to kind of get a little swing of the hips to the right. Take the left hand and bring it down in the direction of the floor. It might hold on to the shin. If you have a block, you could use a block to hold on to, or a water bottle. With that right hand, keep pulling the right hip back behind you. Rotate through the shoulders, kind of like our side plank we did earlier, and then pull that right arm back and reach it straight up. Good. If it doesn't feel good for the neck, you don't have to look up. You could keep the gaze straight forward or possibly even down towards the bottom hand. Good. If that feels okay, let that full rotation lift the right hand towards the ceiling and ground the left hand towards the floor. Good. Take another couple breaths. Feel that stretch to the outer edge of the right hip. Good. Make sure you're taking care of that right side and not doing too much. Inhale all the way. Exhale, right hand comes down, even out the legs. Pull the heart forward, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold and deepen. Inhale, hands to the hips again. Make that little twist in the hips so the right knee bends and the left hip swings back. Good. Rotate in the shoulders and bring the right hand down. It might come down to the floor or a block or a water bottle. Left hand pulls the left hip back. Rotate through the shoulders. Inhale, pull that left arm up and reach it towards the ceiling. Find the breath and let the breath soften some of the more intense areas of the posture. So notice if your toes are holding on for dear life. See if you can let your toes wiggle out. Good. Take one more full inhale. See if you can push down into the right hand, reach up with the left fingertips. And then back to center. Both hands down. Good. Straighten out the legs. Inhale, half lift here. Pull the heart forward, look out in front, and then fold and deepen. Good. At this point, give the head and neck a little shake. Your hands might come a little deeper. You can bring them down towards the back of the knees, the ankles, or the toes. And just try to draw yourself a little closer to the legs. So just slightly deeper than we started, noticing the space you've already created within the body. Nice deep breaths here, in and out through the nose. One more. Good, little bend in the knees. Tuck the tailbone under, roll your way up. One vertebrae at a time. The shoulders come back and down, all the way up to standing. Good. All right, root down into the feet, and then reach up through the top of the head. Set yourself back up in that Tadasana position. So a lot of what we notice is that the chin will be kind of pushed forward, causing rounding in the shoulders. See if you can pull the head back. Good. See if you can tuck the tailbone under, bringing just slightly more weight into the heels. Good. With the next inhale, we're going to reach the hands all the way up. Good. Exhale. Step back, bend both knees, and step back with the right foot. Good. Into warrior one. So we're looking at the front knee bent, knee in line with the ankle, and then the back leg is nice and straight. Good. The hips and the shoulders are facing towards the front edge of your mat. Good, from where you just stepped. As you deepen into this warrior one, you can deepen the bent knee. You can also wiggle your back foot behind you. Make sure the heel stays down. So if you ever get into the position where the heel's lifted, that means you need to shorten a little bit, and that's perfectly fine too. Good. So deepen, but make sure you're not putting all the weight into the front leg. So pull the shoulders back and push the right heel down. Good. Nice job. Take a big inhale here. Look up without coming into a back bend, so just to create the length in the spine, longer through the sides of the rib cage. And then exhale, we'll bring the hands down to the hips. Straighten out the front leg. And then hinging right at the top of the thighs, so we're looking for that hip crease, not the waist. And fold over that front leg. Good, so your front leg's gonna yell at you for just a moment and say, hey. So you can choose to bring your hands down to the thigh, the shin, the floor, or possibly props. If you're holding on to the leg, just making sure that's not putting extra pressure on the knee joint. So if you're kind of pushing down on it, back off and maybe bring something to the hands. Another option is to shorten your stance. That may help too. Good. While you're here, check in on the hips. See if you can pull the right hip slightly forward and the left hip slightly back. Good. And then your left hamstring will say hello all over again. Gaze straight down at your left big toe. Make sure it stays glued to the mat and you're not rolling towards the pinky edge of the foot. Roll the shoulders back. Make sure you relax through the neck. Nice job. Take one more big inhale here. So we find that ease in the breath, even when the pose doesn't feel easy. And as you exhale, we're going to walk the hands to the right edge of the mat, turning all 10 toes and fingers towards the right side. Good. Again, if you need something to bring under the hands or even a chair seat out in front of you, that's a great option. Find your way into a wide forward fold. Good. So if your hands are really far away from the floor, you could try walking your feet wider. That may help. And then we're going to start to check in on the outer edges of the feet. We want the edges of the feet to be in line with the edges of our mat. So make sure we don't want to be in like a second position like ballet. And you don't want to be so far pointed in that you have an angle on the outer edges of the feet. Okay. Take one more big inhale. And then we're going to place the left hand down on the floor of your prop in front of the nose. And then we're going to pull back with the right hand. Okay. Pull back on that bow and arrow, just like we've been doing, and reach straight up towards the ceiling. Gaze may follow or it may not, doesn't need to. Take another breath. Notice if you've bent the knee you turned away from and see if you can straighten it back out. And then bring that right hand back down. Good, switch arms. So right hand replaces the left and left arm pulls back. And your arm may go out to the side. So it just depends on how you feel in the shoulders, or it might come straight up. So just play around with what feels good for you. Inhale all the way. Check in on that knee you turned away from, so it's behind you. We tend to forget about it. And then exhale, bring it back down. We're going to start to move with the breath. So on an inhale, we pull the elbow back, lift that right arm. And then on an exhale, we move nice and slow back down to the floor. Inhale, left arm lifts. Exhale, left arm comes down. Try about 3 or 4 more following your own breath rhythm. Good, noticing without judgment if one side feels a little harder than the other. We tend to have more mobility in one side than the other. Finishing up that last full breath. Back to our wide forward fold. We're gonna bend both knees, pivot towards the top edge of the mat, and make your way back into a downward dog. You might need to come down to the knees to do that. Step back. As you get into your downward dog, you can spend 3 to 5 breaths here, or you might move through a vinyasa. If you know what that means and you want to try that out, that's great. If you're good just holding and breathing, that is great too. So choose your path through this little transition. About 2 or 3 more breaths. Nice job. At the end of the next exhale, bend the knees. Walk the feet up to the top edge of the mat. Pull the heart forward, lift the chest. And exhale, fold. Good, reverse swan dive, bring it all the way out and up. And we'll bring those hands down to heart center, back to Tadasana, just checking in. Great job. All right, we'll go ahead and move through the other side. So inhale, reach up. Exhale, slight bend in both knees, step back with the left foot, warrior one. Good, bend that front knee a little deeper. And just checking in on your stance. Find where you are on this side. Good, if it feels really unbalanced, then you're kind of wobbling side to side, the feet can always step a little bit wider. Good. Take one more big inhale. And make sure that all the weight isn't pouring into that front leg. Make sure the back heel is grounded. Nice job. One more full breath. I think I already said that, but we'll do one more again. And we'll bring the hands down to the hips. Good, straighten out the front leg. So again, we want to hinge at the hip crease to get a lot more movement in the spine. So as we hinge over that front leg, keep the spine long. If your right leg is telling you to pause only about 1/3 of the way down, that's perfectly fine. Good. You can place the hands on the right leg, on a prop, or towards the floor. Good. And as that hamstring opens up, don't be surprised if you're able to deepen as you go, as you breathe. Good. Start to even out the hips. So we bring the left hip slightly forward and pull the right hip slightly back. Really subtle movements, but you'll start to notice them in your body. Looking down at the right big toe, we make sure that stays glued towards the floor. Good, nice job. Take one more full inhale here. Lengthening, creating space. As you exhale, walk both hands to the left side of the mat. Good, pivot all the way around. So you're facing the opposite side. If you need to readjust, I will, so you can see what we're doing. All right, so we're back into that wide forward fold. Great opportunity to make the feet go a little wider this time if things feel more open. Good, we're gonna take a different variation. So this time we're gonna take the right hand, actually both hands are gonna walk towards the left foot. Good, and we're starting to create a little twist. So you might point the fingertips towards the inside of that foot. And then we're gonna take the right hand and start to hold on to something. So you might look at the knee, hold on to the knee, you can hold on to the ankle. You might barely grab that big toe, that's perfectly fine, or you could keep the hand on the floor. Left hand pulls back, that bow and arrow again, to the left hip. Good, nice job. All right, so we're creating that windmill again, except we're over towards the left side. Bend the right knee, the knee that you turned away from. Bring a little bend into that knee, the hips are gonna sit back, and then push into the right foot as you rotate the spine more. You might start to turn up towards the ceiling. Try it again, bend the right knee, and then push into that right leg as you rotate. Good, we'll do one more. Bend that right knee, and then rotate, and as you get to the top, maybe the left hand lifts all the way up towards the ceiling. Good. Big stretch for both legs. One more full inhale. Exhale, come back to center. Let the hands pass through center as they go over to point towards the left foot. Just kidding, right foot. All right, so both hands are pointing towards the right foot. They might just stay there, or you could start to hold on with the left hand to the outer edge of the right leg somewhere. Good. All right, from there, right hand comes up to the hip. Elbow points towards the ceiling. Bend the left knee, the knee that you turned away from. Hip sit back, and then on that exhale, rotate and straighten the leg. So use the momentum of the back leg, that bent knee, to twist and open up a little more. Try it 2 more times. Last one, maybe opening up and extending that right arm straight up. And then exhale, we'll bring it back to center. Great job. Walk all the way to the top edge of the mat, however you need to get there. Step back to downward dog. Shake out the head and neck. 3 to 5 breaths here, or possibly child's pose, or move through your vinyasa. Good, so choose your path. Do what makes sense for your body in this moment. Last one. We'll look forward towards the top of the mat, bend those knees, walk those feet up. Good. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Reverse swan dive, bring it out and up. Good, nice job. Hands come down to center. All right, back to our Tadasana position. Just pause, reset for a moment, and we'll move through one more little flow series. Inhale, bring it up. And exhale, we're gonna swan dive forward. Inhale, half lift here. Exhale, step back with the right leg, high lunge this time. So the back heel will be lifted, still facing all 10 toes towards the top edge of the mat. You can stay here, or if you'd like to reach the fingertips forward, get a little balance, bring those hands up. Nice job. Shoulders slide down the back. Good. This doesn't feel right for balance, step the back foot in slightly so that you can do that warrior one we already did. Nice. One more big inhale. Exhale, we're going to bring both hands forward, facing towards the front edge of your mat, and then that bow and arrow again. Guess it's a theme of today. We're going to pull that right arm back as the right heel pivots down into our warrior two. Reach out through the fingertips. Good. Keep that front knee bent, and then that right hip is opening with the right shoulder. Nice job. Inhale here. Exhale, sink a little lower into that left knee. Inhale, reach back, reverse warrior. Exhale, left elbow comes down to the left knee and right hand reaches straight up. Good. So another theme of today is that back knee bending to create a little bit more of a rotation. So we're going to try that in our side angle. Bend the right knee. Let the hips sink back. It's going to feel like the weirdest side angle pose you've ever done. And then as you push into the right foot, see if you can rotate and look up towards the ceiling a little more. Try that 2 more times. So we inhale to bend, exhale to rotate and create space. Last one. As you come into that last pose, extend the fingertips up overhead so you create one long line through the side body. Inhale. Exhale, pivot down towards the floor. Step back, downward dog. Choose your path through. So again, downward dog, child's pose, or vinyasa. When you're ready, bend those knees, walk the feet up towards the hands. Half lift here. Exhale, fold. Reverse swan dive, bring it out and up. We'll bring those hands down to center. Then we'll move right into the other side. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, half lift here, pull the heart forward, bend the knees, and step back with the left foot. Set up high lunge. Good. Get your alignment of the feet here, so make sure your knee is stacked over the ankle. Your hips are nice and low. Checking in on your balance. If you want to lift those hands off the floor, we'll bring it all the way up. Yep. Getting the torso centered between the two legs. Shoulders slide down the back. Good. One more full breath. Both hands come down out in front. Good. We'll pull back with the left hand like a bow and arrow and pivot the left heel down. Good. Reach out into your warrior two, opposite side. Check in, make sure that right knee stays tracking right over the toes, and then roll the shoulders back as you extend out through the fingertips. Take 2 more breaths here. Last one. Reach it back, reverse warrior. And then elbow, right elbow comes down to the knee, and left hand reaches straight up. Good, we'll set up for that opening. So we bend the back knee, hips sit back, and then straighten out to rotate up. So just a little adjustment in order to get that deeper rotation. Try it 1 or 2 more times on your own. And then extend the fingertips of that top arm towards the front edge of the mat. Full side angle. 1 more big inhale. Beautiful, nice job. Exhale down. Good. Last downward dog or flow or vinyasa. Choose your way through. When you're ready, look forward to the top of the mat. Walk those feet up. Good. Inhale, half lift here. Exhale, fold. Reverse swan dive, bring it out and up. Nice long spine. Big inhale at the top. Exhale, we'll side out as those hands come down. Good, nice job. All right, before we come all the way to the floor, we're gonna do a little balancing. If you'd prefer to be closer to a wall, perfectly fine, or you can also grab a chair or something to hold on to if you lose your balance. We're gonna start off with just a traditional tree pose. So root the feet down into Tadasana, roll the shoulders back. Good. All right, take the right foot, lift it up, and rotate the knee out to the side. Start with just the heel on the ankle and toe on the floor. Notice what happens in the hips. So with the hands on the hips, we can notice if that hip kind of swings out, or can we keep everything centered? Good. If that feels comfortable, feel free to come up into arch on the calf, or you can reach down, grab the foot, and place the foot on the inside of the thigh. Good. Make sure that you're not putting any pressure directly on the knee, so we never want to use that knob of the knee to hold our foot. Check back in on the hips, and if you're feeling comfortable there, hands can come either to heart center or possibly straight up towards the ceiling. Nice job. Find the breath. And we know just sometimes finding the breath doesn't necessarily mean that the stillness of the pose comes, but we still want to keep breathing, even if we just wobble our way through a tree pose. One more inhale. Exhale. When you're ready, try to step out with that same control. So hands to the hips. Slowly release that foot back down. Good. Wiggle out the standing leg. So roll out the ankle. You can bend the knee a few times. Good. All right, we'll come up to the other side. So the left leg goes out to the side, heel lifts. Check in and see what happens just as you shift the weight into the right foot. Good. From there, slide up into your tree when you're ready. Good. Eyes focused on a non-moving point out in front of you. Try something on the wall instead of down at the floor. Possibly even a little taller than you are usually helps keep the chest lifted. Hands can come up to any variation you choose. If you are practicing tree often and you want to try a different variation of the hands or possibly closing the eyes, that's great. Relax through the shoulders and keep the breath steady. One more breath. Nice job. When you're ready, same control to come down, hands to the hips. Step that left foot down. All right, roll out the standing leg. So we're going to take tree one more time, this time with some variations to deepen. So your personal choice whether you want to go a little further. All right, second time around, we're going to start with that right leg again. So of course your options are to do what we just did, or if you'd like to reach for that foot, bring the foot up to the left hip and then let the knee reach down. Good. This is just a different version of our tree pose. The idea is that it's supposed to create an opening in the outer hip, not the knee. So if you feel it all in the knee, maybe back off and do the other variation. If you're feeling good there and you want to challenge the balance even more, you can try folding. So we have the foot there at the hip crease. You can continue to hold on. And then we're going to fold over that leg. Eyes focused at a non-moving point out in front of you, and hands can come down. Kind of pinning that leg in place. Good. Nice deep stretch for that outer right hip. Good. Try to use the same control to come up. Slight bend in the standing leg, then hold on to the foot. Right hand comes up. And we'll all step out of our tree. Nice job. Wiggle out that standing leg. And then we get to do it again on the other leg. All right, root down in the feet. Left leg opens. So now that you know what you're in for on this leg, you may try it out or not. Totally up to you. It's not uncommon for one side to go a little smoother than the other because of flexibility and stability. So just do what makes sense for you. Any variation of tree, just doing a traditional tree 2 times in a row is very helpful for balance. When you're ready, if you choose to fold, we'll fold over that left foot. Okay. Breathing here. So we get a nice deep stretch through that outer left leg and then the whole right leg. Nice job. When you're ready, bend the standing knee. Hold on to that foot again, and then bring it up. Step out when you're ready. Nice job. Roll those shoulders out. Take a few deep breaths. Roll out the ankles, the toes. All right, we're going to do some standing cleansing breaths, and then we'll come down to the floor. So take a big inhale, sweep those arms out and up, and then side out as the hands come down the center. Inhale, gather in what you need. Exhale what you no longer need. One more. Nice job. All right, we'll come all the way to sit. If you want to use your blanket or something to sit on, you can do that. slide towards the back edge of your mat so you have a little bit of this space in front of you for the legs. Good, we'll have the legs straight. And then we're gonna come into a little twist and take the right knee in. Good. Pull that knee into the chest. So you can hold on with the front of the shin or possibly cross the left arm over. And then right hand will come behind you. So you're twisting towards that bent leg. Good, take another inhale. And then rotate back to center. Good. We're gonna take the right hand on the outside of the knee and then reach under the foot and pick the foot up as you pull that knee into the chest. You're kind of holding, cradling the leg like a baby. Good. Find that little hip opener. If you want a little bit more intensity, push the knee away with the right hand as you pull the foot in with the left hand. So we're not trying to use any force, but just enough to create a little opening for that right hip. Nice soft cradle. If you want to go slightly deeper, you can bring the shin into the elbow crease and cradling even more. Just make sure you're not rounding the spine and sinking back. Think about bringing the chest up towards the shin. Okay. You can keep that movement or just breathe. Last one. When you're ready, we'll extend that leg all the way out. Good. Shoulders back and down, sit up nice and tall again, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. So left knee pulls in. Little grip around the shin, pull the heart toward the knee, and then rotate towards the left hand behind. Good, try to keep the spine long, reaching up through the top of the head. You might hook that elbow over the knee or just keep drawing the leg, the bent knee in. Inhale as you lengthen, reach the crown of the head towards the ceiling. And exhale to twist and deepen. The end of the next exhale, we'll rotate back to center. Good. Left hand comes to the outside of the knee and then reach down under the foot, pick that foot up. Good, create that little cradle. And again, it's not uncommon for one side to feel a little tighter than the other. Good. Roll the shoulders back and down. And then of course, if you want to go a little deeper, you can bring maybe just one forearm around and keep the other hand there, or you could bring both. Your choice. Soften the muscles of the face. One more full and complete inhale. We'll extend that leg all the way out. Good, and one deep forward fold. So get the sit bones grounded. We're gonna reach those hands up. Dandasana. And then exhale, fold forward over the legs. Any amount. You might hold on to the back of the knees, the ankles, the feet. We'll take one more breath to pull and lengthen the heart. Look up. And then exhale, you can fold and deepen. Maybe bring the head down. Soften the breath. Start to create a little bit more of a focus for the exhale. Really finding that release as we wind down from all of that movement. Taking our time to reset, be in tune with the breath and the body. Allows us to be more present than all the other things that are involved in our lives. Last exhale. Roll it up nice and slow. Good, shoulders come back and down, and we'll start to move towards the floor. So come onto the back. When you're ready, let those knees come into the chest so that the low back can release towards the floor. So really let the entire low back come in contact with the floor. Find any movement here that works for you. So you might want to try happy baby or little plow pose. Taking your time here, especially in the comfort of your own home, to finish out your practice as you choose. We'll take one more quick little spinal twist. So let the arms go straight out, legs go to one side. Let them fall all the way over and open, and then let the gaze fall in the opposite direction. Last breath. Good. Bring the gaze back to center, legs back to center, over to the other side as you're ready. And open it up. Coming all the way back to center. Good. We'll extend the feet towards the bottom corners of the mat. Roll the shoulders under the back so the chest is open. Draw the chin ever so slightly towards the chest to feel that length travel all the way up into the back of the head. And then allow the head to be heavy. The back of the shoulders heavy towards the floor, back of the hips, all the way down to the hands and the heels. Good. Here we'll just tune into the breath again, noticing each inhale and each exhale. Letting go of what did or did not happen on your mat today, any expectations you had of what this moment would feel like. And try to just be present with what it actually feels like. Slowly beginning to bring some small movements to the fingers and toes, eventually rolling out the wrists and ankles. One by one, bend the knees, place the feet on the floor, or pull the knees into the chest if you choose. Once again, tuning into the little areas of the body that have opened up and created space through your practice. When you're ready, gently roll onto one side and come up to a seated position as you're ready. Good. Thank you for joining today. We'll bring the hands to the heart center. The light in me honors the light in each and every one of you. Namaste.